Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks, and today I'm going to be letting you know why one of my favourite builds on vehicles that have the opportunity to go fast but don't quite manage to get there is to use a Spall liner. Now you might be thinking, hold on QuickyBabs, what are you talking about? A Spall liner? One of the most useless pieces of equipment in World of Tanks. However, what the Spall liner allows you to do is to free up your medkit slot, so you can still use a premium consumable such as food, but you can also use high gasoline octane, or high octane gasoline as I should say, on a vehicle like the AMX-50B. This increases your engine power by 10%. However, it will cost you 20,000 credits per battle, or hopefully 10,000 credits if you're buying it at a discount. And you can turn one of the largest heavy tanks in the game, like the AMX-50B, that weighs 65 tons, into a bit of a behemoth. And look at us going up slope. A lot of people think, is this a medium? No, it's a heavy. It's a gosh darn heavy in this situation. And let's just pause for a second here and take a look to see what kind of a difference this has created. 50B at the front, going up slope. Then you have the traditionally fast heavies, like the VZ55 and the Teenage VZ51. And look where the ST2 is, and the Jagdpanzer E100. And this can have absolute huge game-changing implications for where you're able to access on the map and the kind of ambushes that you can create for taking out your opponents. So I'm going to try and contest the corner, and as my sixth sense doesn't go off on highway, I'm going to do a bit of a handbrake turn to get into position and try and set my ambush. And you might be thinking, well, QuickyBabs, why don't you just take the fuel anyway? You don't need to take a Spall liner. All it's going to do is add an extra ton to your vehicle. Is that really beneficial? Surely the extra ton is actually going to slow you down. But before I explain why, oh, this is a satisfying moment. Look at this, arguably what was the most meta heavy tank in the game, the Kranvang, albeit it has been nerfed, is just getting absolutely trounced by an AMX-50B. They're trying to ram me, but they're doing the same amount of damage to my side as I'm doing to the front of their vehicle. And I just casually get out the way with my very nice 24 power weight to weight ratio and allow my Teenage VZ51 to finish them off. And immediately, just like that, we have dictated the pace of the game. We've got rid of a heavy, we've taken the corner, we're providing a crossfire against our opponents, and hopefully we're going to be able to snowball. So let me finish what I was saying. The Spall liner's effect has a large impact in one specific aspect that not a lot of people take into account. And that is the fact that a Spall liner, it's not just protecting you against HE damage, it's not just protecting you against ramming damage. What it is doing is protecting your crew as a passive bonus. It was designed to protect vehicles from high explosive rounds back when they were at least usable inside World of Tanks, and also to protect you against artillery when there used to be 3 artillery or more in every single game that you played. The Spall liner's protection to your crew from getting damaged, I'm using to not take a med kit at all. And also it helps in scenarios like these, when you can ram a T110E4. I do 366 ramming damage to the heavy tank, which allows me to finish them off in 3 shots instead of 4, and I only take 115. I am literally doing 3 times the ramming damage to a T110E4 than I am receiving from them because of that Spall liner. And because my crew is protected, I can get rid of that med kit and I can take fuel to be able to take this vehicle to the next level. And I'm not really underestimating how much of an impact this has. The 10% engine power will give this thing an effective top speed of 6 kilometers an hour higher on hard terrain, 6 kilometers an hour on medium terrain, and even 4 kilometers an hour on soft terrain. And because of the way that the coefficient of traverse speed works in World of Tanks, I also have an extra 10% tank traverse purely because of that engine boost bonus. And so you'll notice when we're turning left and right, this vehicle is outrageously nimble. It's faster than a Batchat in this scenario. And you might see I'm raising my gun here. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to perform a magic trick. Here we see a tier 10 German tank destroyer. Would an AMX-50B rush into one while they're reloading? Well, this mad lad would. The 50 gorilla misses me, and oh dear! Oh, was that really 1,151 ramming damage? He disappeared so quickly that my artillery shell landed seconds after they were destroyed from my own team. I guess he really didn't expect a 50B to literally rush in and do 1,600 damage to a tier 10 German tank destroyer just like that. And we are less than 5 minutes into this game and we managed to snowball it to 6,500 damage. And we've just set the tempo right from the get-go. And this is the kind of crazy thing that you can do with an AMX 50B. Although I'd also like to clarify, it doesn't always work out. I don't really want to waste the gold rounds in this scenario, so I'll let the artillery get me. He's going to salute me as well, and you know what? He's probably quite happy with the extra 240 damage he got at the end of the game. But a little bit of banter there to take us up to 6,900 damage. This was definitely a nice round. But it's not just a vehicle like the AMX 50B that can do this. Any tank that has a good top speed limit, but not the best power to weight ratio, can take a Spall liner to sacrifice... Oh no, I can't deal with the anime. I'm sorry, I can't deal. I forgot. Not Panzer IV indeed. No, even though I've got the Hippo on the side of my vehicle and Panzer IV on the side, it's not Panzer IV. Any vehicle that has a good top speed but not the best engine power can take a Spall liner and sacrifice the med kit to be able to take the extra fuel. And then look at us pounding up the slopes. My good buddies Phil and John are playing, and even though I reckon they have turbos on the E50M, they don't have the fuel difference here, allowing us to get into position. And fast heavy tanks like the Progetto 66, who would never expect a vehicle to be up here like this, are going to get supremely punished by just the position that we've managed to get into in the E50M. And you know what? In a vehicle like this, you've got to have momentum, right? Downslope, 58 kilometers, bounding over positions, jumping into rivers. Char Future 4, don't really want to try and ram that one up slope. Why don't we just track them? Our friends are going to annihilate them, and we're going to keep this German pain train rolling forwards. You know what, powered out by that high-octane gasoline. Was kind of a little bit worried there that maybe if Phil had turned left or even stopped for a second, that he would have ended up drowning me. That one would have been a little bit awkward. It's been so good to play with Phil and John again on stream. If any of you remember any of those good old school platoons, who knows? Maybe in the future we'll have the pleasure of doing a couple more, because I certainly had an amazing time with it. Okay. So let's get back on target with regards to taking a Spall liner and whacking on the fuel. Now let me clarify, this is effectively pay to win. What you see me using here is 20,000 credits worth of consumables, and that's if I'm purchasing them at half price. And I don't have the option of not using them if I was using an automatic fire extinguisher, for example. And what better tank in the game than the E50M for casually rolling in, doing 600 damage to a 430. Getting into the dip and hopefully securing it to allow my team to continue on. And we are literally less than 2.5 minutes into this game. Tried to go for a little bit of a greedy play there to track the Jagdpanzer 100. I probably should have just gone for the free shot onto the side of that tank. We are literally up to 7,000 combined in this battle, 2.5 minutes in. Sure, the game is definitely a lot faster in 2023. And as the meta shifts to require you to have bigger impacts in shorter periods, I've been having no better time than playing my E50M in a very aggressive fashion. Now, remember that it's not just the crew protection that you're getting from this. As I showed with the AMX 50B, you are massively reducing the amount of ramming damage that you receive, and it can allow you to ram tanks that otherwise it probably wouldn't be a good idea to ram, because you're going to be taking substantial amounts of damage. Look at the ramming damage that we took against the 430, for example, 2. We took 2 and we did over 600 to them in return. I'd say that's a pretty good trade. And with the example that I showed in the 50B just a few minutes ago, what did I do? Like 350? I took like 115 in return. Anytime you have an opportunity to be able to make those kind of trades. But I would like to warn you that a build like this, it is very famine or feast. It goes oh so well in scenarios like this, But when you have those long bunkered down situations where you're actually needing things like damage per minute from a gun rammer, accuracy, or possibly even silly things like view range to be able to see your opponents, yeah. The Spall line is an absolute joke in that scenario. But the beauty of World of Tanks is that you can pick what setup you want to use at the start of the battle. So you can have your normal build for when you go on Prokhorovka or Malinovka, for example, and then when you see an assault map like Erlenberg, or like in the 50B in the previous example, an opportunity to be able to have that extra speed, to be able to get into the corner of the map, to be able to dominate it, and to snowball the game, and that's an option that you can use. And so what I would recommend in World of Tanks for a lot of you is to think about how you can use your two setups to best cover either your playstyle or to cover the different maps. And for me, also, sometimes it's just about having a little bit of fun. And I can tell you, I've had no better fun than in the E50M with this kind of a silly build, and I've definitely been having more fun than ever in an AMX 50B with the outrageous speed build as well. Also, with the extra weight that you get from the Spall liner, if you ever find yourself in those kind of situations where you're not sure whether you're actually going to be able to win the RAM engagement, literally that extra weight as well as the extra protection that you'll have will give you the edge. So, ladies and gents, boys and girls, this was my little bit as to why the Spall liner is possibly the best piece of equipment in World of Tanks. At least if you're a little bit mad and you want to have a little bit of fun. But look, I would be doing all of you a complete disservice if I was actually kind of being serious here. I hope you kind of get I'm trolling just a little bit. I'm not trolling from an insanity perspective, however. But please, don't go and put Spall liner and fuel on all of your vehicles and then come crying to me when you lose your crew members and then you've got a dead loader or a dead commander for the rest of the battle. One crew skill that you might want to invest if you're doing a silly build like this, such as on the E50M or the AMX 50B, is to make sure that you have jack of all trades on your commander. Because that means that if one of your crew members gets knocked out that isn't the commander, then the commander will lower the penalty that will be applied through to that crew member. And so, if you find yourself getting a little bit bored in World of Tanks, try a patented QuickyBaby stupid build, see if you have a little bit of fun with it, and good luck with the old Panzervor. Anyway, ladies and gents, boys and girls, that was it for me today. Hope you enjoyed this hopefully fun but silly video at the same time. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you hated it, give it a thumbs down. Let me know what you think about that ram on the Gorilla from the 50B. Do you think that should even be legal in World of Tanks? And if you're watching this video as it's released on Friday, I've got a mega stream for you today where there are going to be 2 sets of new drops. You can get your tokens for your monthly drops, and also as it's this 12th anniversary of World of Tanks, you can come and get yourself 10 birthday candles for watching the stream today that you can redeem for things like 3D styles for the E75 or the Tiger II, or you can purchase things like premium time with them. Either way, have an amazing weekend, whatever you decide to do, and yeah, hopefully I'll see you live on Twitch soon.